Western Marketing. Thank you very much for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about the new ACA training for agents that are trying to open up the book a little further to expose those new enrollees and then open up some new business for you. With me today we have Marlene Hurtado, the business development director with Agility, which is going to be gracious enough to give us some information on how to get you started with ACA. Marlene, are you there?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much, Sandy, for the introduction. I'm super excited, honestly, to continue to work for this year with Western Marketing when it comes to the ACA health side. I know for a lot of agents, that haven't dabbled into the health insurance market are starting to get involved just because of all the changes that have been happening within the last year, with the new president, with all of these new rules that are coming out. So definitely this is a great time to get started. I think Sandy did a great job of introducing me. I'm actually the business development director here for Agility Insurance. Been with the company for 9 years now. Super excited. We started since day one when ACA first began. And it's been one of those things where it's been a journey, right? When everybody was saying no to ACA, we were there. When, things started to change, when, our prior president was in, it was one of those things where people were starting to jump out of it. But we've stuck it through the whole time. So, we definitely hold ourselves very prideful to that. Saying that, anything that you guys need and the relationships that we have with the carriers for this, because of the loyalty we've had, we can do a lot of great things with you guys. So Sandy, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and get started.
Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Perfect. So today's presentation specifically, we are going to be talking about, one, what the carriers are for this 2022 open enrollment period. What those contracting looks like in certain states, commissions, which is always important for everybody. I don't have final numbers for 2022, and Sandy will get that information to you, but we'll kind of give you guys an overview of what that looks like. Marketing as well, when it comes to the marketing support. I'm going to be very basic on today's webinar when it comes to the information, because I don't want to go in here and scare you guys off because there's so much information. But I promise you guys that even though there's so much information, it's so easy to do. It is, when I look at it, and if you guys are selling Medicare, life insurance, or any of these other markets, man, kudos to you guys, because ACA is going to be the piece of cake. You guys have already been doing the hard work with the other markets. So this is something that is very simple. Our contact information, if you guys can hopefully see my screen, it's sales@enrollinsurance.com. Any inquiries that you guys have, you're always welcome. Contact Western Marketing. They're great at their jobs. But if it's anything specific, sometimes Sandy will copy us on the email just so that we can jump in and put some input. You guys are always welcome to contact us as well on our directly to our producer support. Just to give you guys a little bit on our producer support or sales support side as well, we do have multiple languages as well that support our agents. So if you feel like you may feel a little more comfortable speaking a different language, we do have English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Urdu. I am in the process of hiring someone that speaks Chinese as well. So hopefully I should have that ready to go by October 1st. So that's exciting news. But we are very diverse. So when we talk about what is the Affordable Care Act, for all of my new agents that are on this webinar today, the Affordable Care Act is the law, right? It was the law that was passed by Barack Obama back in 2010. And basically what it was is he was looking for a way for us to have health coverage to all of the Americans out there without having to go through underwriting or being denied, right, the health coverage or having to pay such high premiums. Now, there is a little bit of a misconception here, because sometimes people will tell you, well, I don't want to be in an Obamacare plan. So the Affordable Care Act is known as the ACA or Obamacare, right? But that's the law. There is no Obamacare plans. All of these health insurance plans are all private insurance plans offered by the insurance companies. Now, what the Affordable Care Act does offer, though, is the ability to go as what's known as on or off exchange. For some of you guys right now, you're sitting there going, what's the difference between an on and an off exchange plan? Totally okay. On exchange plan just means that you're going to go into one of these private health insurance companies, right? If it's Cigna, United Healthcare, Aetna, whatever company that is offered through the marketplace, and you're going to apply for a subsidy to help you pay for that health insurance plan. That's considered on exchange. Now, it all falls under the Affordable Care Act law, but it's an on exchange plan, which means you're going to apply for a subsidy. If your client doesn't want to apply for a subsidy, they do have alternative options. They can go on through what's known as an off exchange plan. Now, that off exchange plan means that they're going to pay the full premium amount. Depending in the area that you market yourself, right? Sometimes you're going to scare your clients because as soon as they realize that the plan costs $650 without a subsidy, but if they applied for a subsidy, it cost them $20, then it's like, wait a minute, hold on, maybe I do want to go on exchange. So just remember that when your client tells you, I don't want to get put in an Obamacare plan, that's the law. It's not a plan, that's the law. Now, there are on and off exchange options. You just have to tell them, great, if you don't want to apply for the subsidy, let's go directly to the insurance company and see what that premium looks like. And sometimes that premium will be too high. Now, the purpose of the Affordable Care Act was to have people insured, right? Because if you remember back, and I don't know, how long for some of you on this phone call have been selling health insurance, but let's go back 10 years ago, right? The only way you could qualify for a health insurance plan was what? You had to be super healthy. They had to have offered it through your employer, right? And you were paying a really high premium. If you had any type of medical conditions, and even if you could qualify, right, they would skyrocket the prices. So what happened is that so many people were in debt because of medical costs. And so the purpose of President Barack Obama at that time was to allow people to get into a health insurance plan and it would be considered affordable. Now, good luck to the people back then, right? If they were diagnosed with cancer or any critical conditions, because automatically you were excluded from a health insurance plan, which means that what? You had to pay out of pocket, or you just kind of just waited till you died. Unfortunately, that's the word. Or you went to county hospitals, right? And then once again, you'd fall into this huge debt. So they said, hey, listen, we're going to accept everyone. There is no underwriting for ACA health plans, which means that this makes it even easier for you guys, because all you really have to do, it doesn't matter if they're overweight, doesn't matter, if they have any pre-existing conditions, or, the only thing that would affect it is if they're tobacco users. In that case, their premium does go up, but that's the only thing that affects the premium. Now, there are a few states, you have to be careful with this as well, because there are a few states that, because of the Affordable Care Act, the Medicaid programs did expand. Now, what happened is that more people were eligible for a marketplace plan, and the kiddos or family members were eligible for Medicaid. I know we don't dabble too much in the Medicaid programs. That's not really our job as agents. But just know that when you're running these quotes, there are certain states. I'm in Texas. Texas did not expand the Medicaid states. If you know why, because we're a Republican state, it's a little bit more different, right, for us to oppose some of these things. But we didn't expand the Medicaid program in our state, which means that there's a section when it comes to the health insurance that we have more people that qualify for those ACA health plans because they don't qualify for the Medicaid program. The other thing is that obviously it also opened up the opportunity for medical care delivery methods. Teledoc was finally actually introduced by a lot of the insurance companies. That's something we didn't see back then as much. That's something as well. The Affordable Care Act allows the insurance companies the ability to accept applications. Normally in the past, it's always been 45 days, November 1st through December 15th. Now, this year for this 2022 open enrollment period, it actually has extended. So now we're talking November 1st all the way through January 15th. What does that mean? You guys get extra time to sell. We always have, our clients, when we look at our book of business, and even ourselves, we're procrastinators. We wait till the last minute to get enrolled into a health insurance plan. And what happened is on December 14th and 15th, right, we used to have all these people start calling you about how they needed health coverage. And you're sitting there panicking on how you're going to get all these clients enrolled. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen the same thing on January 14th and 15th, but at least now we have a little bit more time to do some outreach and make sure that they get enrolled before the open enrollment ends. So, ACA carriers, I listed some of the ACA carriers that are the most popular, and we're going to go into each one of these throughout the slide just briefly. Because I do want you guys, and by the way, at the end of this presentation, I will be sending this to Sandy to distribute to you guys so that you know exactly what states each insurance company is available. What you're going to see is that Agility Insurance works with all of the national carriers, which means that they are in multiple states, if not in all 50. There's no insurance company right now for the ACA that's in all 50 states, but they're in the majority of the states. Ambetter Health has always been one of our most popular health insurance companies. Now, Ambetter Health, for all of you guys that know that Ambetter Health, the only requirement with them, guys, is production. And it sounds a little bit harsh to talk about Ambetter Health this way because they say we don't want the agent that's going to go out there and write 3 to 5 members. They're looking for agents that are going to write 50 to 100 to 200 members a year. So what happens is they put these guidelines and they say you have to write a minimum of 25 members within the year. If you do not write 25 members within the year, they terminate your contract. Now, here's the part you say, well, they can terminate me. I'll just recontract next year. Nope, they will not recontract you for a minimum of 3 years, which you're sitting there. If you end up going in there and saying, hey, I want to get contracted in Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, and for 2022, they're going to be in Louisiana, so I want all 4 states, and you only truly market yourself in Arizona, and all of the other 3 states you write nothing in those, they'll terminate you in those other 3 states. And what happens is that if the following year you decide to go into Oklahoma because you have a great marketing strategy and you have a good relationship, you will not be able to get recontracted in that state. So just be very careful on those. If you're not marketing yourself, if you're just looking at it, maybe just doing one enrollment because somebody referred a friend over to you, I would reach out to Sandy and just say, hey, is there another option here? Can I refer it over to you guys? That way I don't contract myself in that state. This is the only company that does that, guys. But once again, they do this because they are a 500 Fortune company. They have the ability to put themselves in these situations. It is what it is, and we just play nice with them. For this 2022, you are going to see them going into Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Jersey, and Kentucky. So everything that you see inside the little screen, that's where they're at right now for this 2021. 2022, they're going to be in Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Jersey, and Kentucky. Now, they are talking about being very competitive in the Kentucky market. So if you guys are if you are licensed in Kentucky, that's the state to be in because they are going to be in there very competitively. The other thing that I do want to mention with Ambetter Health is they do have great programs. They do have their teledoc, but they also have their 200. I am so sorry about that, guys. I'm working from home and I do have my dog in the background, so I do want to apologize. So there's sorry guys, I do apologize. Give me 1 second. I am so sorry about this.
Don't worry, Marlene. Continue. Don't worry about it. Now, while Marlene is uh, coming back, I wanted to reiterate with you guys that for the state of New Jersey and Kentucky, if you do have a license in those states, just let us know. There are some other ways to do some training over there. So I'm pretty sure that Marlene is going to give you more details on that. Marlene, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. Sorry about that. I had to take her out so I could avoid that.
Don't worry. Go ahead.
I feel like I had to run a mission right now. Sorry, guys. To apologize for.
No, I was talking about New Jersey and Kentucky and how sometimes New Jersey is a little bit difficult, even though you have the plan with I'm better over there in New Jersey. There may be some other steps that we need to take to get you set up in that state. So
Right, and we'll go over that when we get to certifications. So there are different types of certifications for some of these states. So we'll review that as well. All right, so like I was saying, these are the states to be in with Ambetter Health. When we talk about their teledoc is amazing. They have great features. They have what's known as a $250 rewards program as well for your clients. That's very popular. So the $250 reward program actually allows you, sorry guys, what it allows you to do is that your clients, if they sign up for their Ambetter member portal, if they sign up for what's known as their sorry, pressing mute here. Like I said, their $250 reward, it allows you the ability, if you sign up for their member broker portal, if you sign up to do your first wellness checkup, literally they get a visa of $250 that they can use for whatever they want, which is pretty nice because they can also use it to make their payments. They can use it to put gas. They can use it. It's literally a Visa gift card that gets sent to them. So that's one of the perks that they offer for all of their members. It's been known to be very popular with them just because they can use it for whatever they like. It's not like it's limited for their medical costs. Let's go into Molina Healthcare. Molina Healthcare for this 2022, they are going to be in Illinois, Idaho, and Kentucky. Now, Illinois, guys, for Molina Healthcare is going to be a huge new state. The reason why is, and for some of you guys that are already selling in Illinois, you'll know, Illinois is very, very competitive market. It's almost getting as competitive as what we see here in Texas, as we see in Florida, right? For all of the agents that are out there right now selling ACA health plans, I know some of you guys are brand new to this, but Florida and Texas are your states that are the most competitive. Illinois, for whatever reason, if you notice on the next couple of slides as we go through the carriers, what you're going to see is that Illinois is one of those states that you're going to see in most of these companies. There's literally 7 different companies in each one of these states, in the state of Illinois. You have Cigna, you have Molina, you have Ambetter, you have Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, you have United Healthcare, right? But Illinois, that's why Molina Healthcare is getting into this market, because in that state is where you want to be. They are also in California. They are also in Florida, Michigan, Mississippi, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, Washington, Wisconsin. I do want to point something out with Molina Healthcare, though. If you are already appointed with Molina Healthcare for their Medicare side, that's okay. Every carrier that I'm talking about today has separate contracts to what is their Medicare and their individual ACA market, which means that if you have a Molina Healthcare Medicare contract, this is completely separate. It doesn't affect your relationship with Molina Healthcare on the Medicare side if you were to get contracted with Molina Healthcare on the individual side. So this is the first carrier that I'm going to bring up that actually has that ability where it's two separate contracts, one for the Medicare, one for the ACA. Now, let's talk about Oscar Health for one sec too. Oscar Health is going to be one of your most popular in states like Arizona. You're going to see them very popular in California. Guys, in the Florida area as well. So Oscar Health knows themselves very well for being what? Tech friendly. They're very advanced. All of their systems, if you guys have ever signed someone up, or even if you've signed yourself up for an Oscar Health plan, you'll know what? They have exceptional customer service compared to all of these other ACA health insurance companies. Oscar Health holds themselves very strongly with great customer service. They have these systems, they have the app for your phones, right? You're either, if you have an iPhone or an Android, I mean, they have the applications that help you and your members keep control of what their health insurance plan is. So they hold themselves very strongly. They always say, we don't really care for, the lowest cost plan. What really matters to us is that our members are happy. And so they hold themselves strongly for that. They dabbled themselves into the Medicare market 2 years ago. So I will bring that up as well when you guys are getting contracted with Oscar Health on the ACA side, completely separate to the Medicare. So remember, it's not going to affect it. If you work with us in Western Marketing for Oscar Health ACA, it's a whole separate contract if you have that relationship with Western Marketing, just with them for the Medicare side. So that's an option that you guys have on there. Now, this year they're going to be in Arizona, that is meant to be, it's going to be in Arkansas, Illinois, and Nebraska. So once again, you see another carrier going into what market? What state? Illinois. So that is huge, right? That's why I keep pointing out Illinois is going to be the state to be in. Arkansas, guys, and we'll talk about certifications in a second, because some of these you also have to look at what's known as a state-based or an FFM state. And we'll go over that during the certification sections. Let's talk about HCSC. So I have Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas huge on here. Reason I have Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas huge on here is because that's where I'm from. That's where I live. That's my where we have our corporate office here at Agility Insurance. But with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, they fall under what's known as the HCSC network. Now, we can help you guys get contracted through that HCSC network for Oklahoma, Illinois, New Mexico, and Montana, which is really, really good for us. If you know something about Blue Cross, is that in every state, the contract is different, which means that unfortunately, if you reach out to Sandy and say, hey, Sandy, I want to get contracted with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, I am not going to have it. The reason why is because Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina makes you captive in that state. If you contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, then you can't offer any other ACA health plan in that state. So we don't mess with that state for that specific contract. Same thing is going to apply for Florida Blue, right? Any Florida agents today on here, you guys know if you get contracted with Florida Blue, right, what happens? Even though they're part of Blue Cross, it makes you exclusive. It's a whole separate contract, and then you can't sell anything else in that state except Florida Blue plans. So just remember, when you're looking at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, Oklahoma, Illinois, New Mexico, Montana, and Texas fall under that HCSC guidelines for that network. And so we can get you guys contracted there. Anything outside of that, it's a no-no. It can't happen because it's a whole separate contract. Now, you will find agencies out there that will try to get you contracted in these states. always, always, always make sure, and this is why I love Western Marketing for this, is that you guys are always contracted with the insurance companies and you guys are compensated fairly. That means that you're getting compensated the street level of what the insurance companies pay out. They're not dabbling into your commissions. We don't touch your commissions. That's always a good thing, right? But some of these other agencies, if they try to appoint you in those states, just make sure that your commissions are always straight level and you're getting the full amount. United Healthcare. United Healthcare did this last year. They got into the market right before open enrollment started, right? And you're gonna say, why is her screen a little more blank? Because I don't have a lot of information on them yet. Because they're gonna be ready for this 2022. So in 2021, for this past open enrollment, right before the open enrollment started, right? Remember, for the health insurance ACA plans, the pricing, the rates are not released until a day or the day of open enrollment, which means that we don't really know what insurance companies are going to look like with their pricing, what's going to be competitive. So that's why we always encourage you guys to get contracted with whatever is available in your state. So United Healthcare last year, 2021, open up, rates are released and they're on the board. They are one of the, in some states, second lowest silver plans. And everybody starts scattering. How do we get a contract? What do we do? And United Healthcare said, nope, we're not going to give out contracts. What we want to see is we want to dabble into the ACA market and see what our return is. And if it's worth it, we're going to stick around and we'll do this again next year. That was their game plan. And what happened is that they knocked it out of the water. They did great in these states that they were in. For this 2022, they announced that they were going to jump into the ACA market full on. We are proud to say that we are one of their general agencies. There's other general agencies out there. So just make sure when you're contracting for United Healthcare, in order to be aligned with Western Marketing, you have to make sure that the invitation shows Agility Insurance Services. Now, here's the deal, guys. Because there's other general agencies did not play fairly. So what happened is that invitation started getting blasted left and right. So you may have already received an invitation. And that's why I say, if you're going to be selling ACA health plans with Western Marketing, you have to say Agility Insurance on that invitation to ensure that we sent it out, and then we're all in the loop on this. If for whatever reason you completed something incorrectly, that's okay. We still have time. Reach out to Sandy. He'll help you with all of that. Now, the states that we know that they are going to be available in are the following that are on this list. Guys, like I said, United Healthcare, what's going to back them up this year and what's backed them up in the past is what? Name recognition. Everybody knows United Healthcare. Why? Because they do Medicare, they do group health, they do supplemental products. Now, what you have to remember is that this United Healthcare contract for the ACA is completely separate to all of the other markets as well. Similar to when I was talking about Molina Healthcare, this is completely separate, right? So if you have a United Healthcare Medicare contract, you have a United Healthcare UH1 contract, right, for their supplemental products, or you have United Healthcare on the group side selling their old savers. It's different. You're not contracted to sell UHC ACA plans. It's a whole separate contract. So just make sure that you guys are getting that completed correctly. And if you're not sure if you completed the contract, once again, reach out to Sandy. He's going to be able to help you out with that and verify that you're contracted or what the steps are to be ready for this 2022 open enrollment. Now, United Healthcare hasn't confirmed what their commissions are going to look like yet. Some of you guys in certain states, it has been announced already within your contract. But for some states, it's still a little bit loopy on how they're going to pay. Louisiana, Maryland, Virginia are three that are still in the air. Everybody else around looks like it's going to be about $25 per member per month per what the contract says. And the great part about this is you're getting paid directly by the insurance company. So whatever the insurance company is paying out, that's what you're getting, which is always a great thing. Aetna CVS. If you notice, I didn't put their logo on here. Everybody's seen the Aetna CVS information out there. Aetna's jumping back into the ACA market as well, guys, but it's going to be completely separate. It's going to be completely different than what we've seen Aetna's network look like in the past with their Medicare products or their group products. Aetna CVS is a whole separate contract specifically for the ACA market. Now, they are going to be, and I did put the counties on this one because we know what counties they're going to be in. They're in Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Missouri, Nevada, North Carolina, Texas, and Virginia. Now, when we talk about Aetna CVS, guys, two things to think about on this. One, we cannot use their Aetna CVS logos yet. Those have not been approved. So please do not use the Aetna CVS logos because they're not okay with it. Second part to this is going to be that their contracting is very, very tedious. And the reason I'll use that word is because it's a two-step process if you do not already have an Aetna World portal. So if you have an Aetna World portal and you're contracted for their commercial products, then it's very easy to go in there and you just move on to part 2 of what the contracting instructions are. If you do not have an Aetna World portal, right, which means you don't have an appointment with Aetna for any of their other markets, then what happens is that you have to actually create a account, get contracted for their commercial side, and then complete part 2, which is the ACA products. So it's not going to affect any of your contracts on the Medicare side. It's not going to affect anything on the group side. It doesn't affect any of your other contracts. The Aetna CVS is specifically for the individual ACA products. And you'll find that contract, if you already have an Aetna World account, then what happens is if you go to the individual tab, you're going to see on there where it says getting contracted to sell ACA health plans. Like I said, it's completely separate to what the other markets are. And that's, I want to make sure that you guys know that it's different. Now with Aetna, the other thing is going to be, you've got to make sure when you're running through that contract that you select Agility as the general agent. Now, if you do not select Agility as the general agent for whatever reason, no worries, reach out to Sandy and he's going to help you out with that. Or the licensing department there at Western Marketing, they'll be able to guide you through that. Sorry, Sandy, I feel like I'm guiding them to you for everything.
It'll cost you.
It's going to cost me. Next one on here is going to be Cigna. Same thing. Cigna, we know what Cigna does other markets. This Cigna contract here is specifically for the ACA products, completely different to the others. So I get this all the time. Agents go out there and they start writing business, right? And then they say, well, I'm already contracted with Cigna. And we pull up their contract and it's like, no, you're contracted with Cigna Medicare or Cigna Supplemental Benefits. Completely different, guys. Cigna is actually one of those that has 4 different contracts. They have one for their group products. They got one for their Medicare products, their supplemental products. They have one for like that offers like travelers insurance. So they're all over the place with this stuff. So Cigna ACA is different. You've got to make sure you're contracted with the right one. If you're not sure about that, once again, Sandy and licensing team can guide you through that. One state that they are jumping into for this 2022, and I have really actually excited about this and really high hopes, is they're going into the Mississippi market. If you guys have ever gone into the Mississippi area specifically and seen in the past 3 years ago, the only thing that was available and dominated Mississippi when it came to ACA health plans was Ambetter Health, because it was the only option. Ambetter was the only option in Mississippi in every county, which means that if you wanted an ACA health plan, what was your option? Ambetter Health. That's it. 2 years ago, Molina Healthcare jumped into the Mississippi market and they took over half of the state. And they went in there with the lowest cost plans beat Ambetter when it came to pricing. It was really, really crazy to see how the numbers moved, right? Because your clients are going to be what? There's two types of different clients. You got your cost-driven client that just wants the cheapest thing out there. And then you have your client that may actually have some pre-existing conditions, needs to see the doctor, and is looking for a specific network. And that's why you got to kind of look at the different plans. But that's really the only two types of clients you're going to have when it comes to ACA. So when we saw that, we saw a lot of those people switch over to Molina Healthcare. Well, for this 2022, now we're going to see 3 companies in there. You're going to see Mississippi, you're going to see Ambetter Health, and you're going to see Molina Healthcare. So that's interesting to see how that's going to play out and where we're going to see a lot of the clients fall into. But I know that Cigna is going in there with that, once again, name recognition, right? These, just like you guys that are wanting to jump back into the health insurance market, specifically the ACA, right? Because you see the opportunity now. A lot of these well-known original OG companies, right, are coming back into the ACA for the same reason. They're seeing the opportunity, right? Cigna, United Healthcare, Aetna, they stepped away. They were gone for about 5 years. They were not in the ACA market, actually a little longer than 5 years, and they were not getting involved. He said, we don't want anything to do with it. There's a reason why they're jumping back in, because they see the opportunity. So for you guys as insurance agents, this is the time to say, let's get into the ACA. Because if the carriers are jumping back in, it's because they know that they're going to make a profit. You guys can make that same profit. Maybe not the same amount as Cigna Carriers, but definitely you can. Medica is another well-known company. I know a lot of the agents on this phone call probably are in these specific areas. Medica is very popular. Now, Medica, guys, the only thing you have to look at when you're completing the contract, and I'll bring this up, is the fact that Medica, unlike the other companies that pay per member per month, and we haven't talked commissions because we haven't gotten there yet, but they are the only company that actually pays per policy. So I always get this all the time in January. Marlene, I wrote 126 members with Medica, and it actually only came down to like 90 policies. You get paid per policy, not per member. So just keep an eye out on that and just know that they pay per policy. But for some of the states that they are in, they are very competitive. Medica in Oklahoma nails it. They are actually in certain areas even lower than Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma. And even though I work with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma, some of these markets, I tell them all the time, can't do anything because Medica has a great network and their rates are really, really good. So know that Medica is a good company to have. Friday Health, nobody really had heard about Friday Health until last year. So Friday Health was specifically in Colorado. For the longest time, they were sitting in Colorado. That's where they grew their biggest, largest book of business. They decided last year to jump into Texas, New Mexico, and Nevada. And for them, I think it was something where they jumped into Texas knowing that this is one of the most competitive states. And I say that because for anybody that's from Texas on this phone call or sales in Texas, right? Keep in mind, you have what? You got 9 different carriers, actually 10 in some areas, right? You have your Molina Healthcare, you got Ambetter, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, you have Oscar Health, you have Friday Health now, you have United Healthcare, Etna. You also have in Texas, then you have your regional ones, Community Health Choice. Christus is here as well. So there's a lot of different companies. And so they jumped into Texas. And to be honest, I think they did pretty okay. They jumped into one of the most competitive states with so many options. And they still came in really, really good with their numbers. And that's why this year we're going to see them going into Georgia, North Carolina, and Oklahoma. So they're going to be in those 3 other states for this 2022 open enrollment. We're going to see them. So there's a lot to look out with this company. And like I said, these are all companies that are new. their challenge right now when they're going into each one of these markets is what? They're competing now against the big guys, right? The United Healthcares, the Aetnas, the Cigna, right? Well-known companies. We've never heard of Friday Health. Your clients never heard of Friday Health. But what happens when you look at the rates and you look at what the plan cost is? And you tell your client Friday Health cost, it's free for a silver plan, or they can get a United Healthcare plan for $35, right? Your client's going to sit there and go, I don't really go to the doctor that much. I can find a doctor with Friday Health's network. Let me go with that $0 plan instead of paying $35 a month. If your client's cost driven, that's going to be the discussion there. So even though we don't recognize some of these other companies that are, new, and I don't want to say new because they've been around for 5 years, but it's still an option to have. Now, I'm also have on here CareSource, Christus, and I also have on here, Anthem. So let's talk about Anthem for a second, guys, because that's Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It has the Blue Cross Blue Shield logo as well. There are some states, and I'll use Georgia as an example. So in Georgia, you're going to see two different types of plans. You have your Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia, and then it has the little Anthem logo on the right-hand side. So even though it's Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia, it goes through the Anthem name. So anywhere where you see Anthem, California, Colorado, Connecticut, anything that you see on here, we can help you get contracted in for those states. Now, once again, this is different than your Medicare and group stuff. Doesn't affect those contracts. If you have a relationship with Anthem for Medicare in Georgia, it's not going to affect it. Same thing in Kentucky, doesn't matter, because this is specifically for the individual ACA side. Christus Health is another good company, guys, that I would definitely have you guys take a look at if you're in Louisiana. For the longest time, for the last 3 years, we haven't had anything in Louisiana. A lot of agents would approach us about Louisiana. Honestly, I haven't put too much close attention to that state. But Christus is available in Louisiana, and Ambetter Health is going into the Louisiana market as well. So if you're in Louisiana, those are two options that definitely you guys need to consider. Now, we've talked about the health insurance companies, what to look for, how it's separate from the contracting, how they're going to be separate from the contracting with the other markets, making sure that you're ready to go. Like I said, Sandy can definitely give you guys that information. But the next thing we're going to talk about is training. So 2022 FFM training is available for returning agents, which means that for all of the new agents, it leaves you as, well, what about me, right? What am I going to do now? Remember this. If you're a brand new agent right now, the thing that you need to worry about is making sure that you are contracted with the insurance companies. And you have to certify before October 31st. The certifications, I promise you, are super easy. It's literally, yes, it's going to sound scary because it's 14 modules long. But once they release it, even though it's 14 modules long, it's only 10. The last 4 are all attestations that you read and understood everything that you did. Now, if you sell Medicare, here's the other thing. Unlike Medicare, where you only get 3 tries, right? ACA FFM training allows you to do their tests at the end as many times as you want. You could literally fail it 5, 6 times. It's just going to tell you to read the information again. So it's not like you're going to fail it and then you're done. Nope, you still have that opportunity. Now, what I tell agents all the time on this is you have to, even though for the new agents, we're expecting it to open October 5th, right? Even if you wait till October 22nd to complete those certifications, at least get your contracts in the door. Because if your contract is not submitted, it cannot go through background check. And background check is where everybody gets held up. And because, unfortunately, there's a lot of us, we're all procrastinators, We wait till the last minute. We see contracts not going active until 30 days later, which means that if you wait until October 20th to submit that information, you will not be ready till November 20th. Now you say, well, it doesn't matter, Marlene. We still have till January 15th. Yep, you're right. 100% you're right. But if you submit any business while your contract is going through background check and you have not received the welcome letter, you will not be compensated. I had an agent last year, wrote 220 members, 220 members. In January, he reached out to me and he said, Marlene, where are my commissions? I went back, looked through his profile, and guess what? He was not certified to sell. He was contracted because he was contracted from the year prior, but he never got that ready to sell because he was not certified. So everything he wrote during the open enrollment, he got nothing. Now, I have taken extra measures to avoid this in the future. We do have a team that specializes in pulls those reports weekly, and Sandy, once that's released, we'll be getting that over to you guys so that you can follow up with those agents that are not certified. So, super important. When you go in to complete your certifications, you have to go through what's CMS. It's portal.cms.gov. Now, what happens is that you have to do your identity verification, and you have to include all of your information for your national producer number. We see this happen all the time. Agents will call us and say, I already completed my certifications. We go through the data system and pull up the proof that you've completed the certification. If it does not show on the ready to sell report from CMS, your NPN, it means you did something wrong. If we're telling you that we cannot locate that proof of FFM training completion, you have to go back into the system. And sometimes what we'll do is we'll ask you to send us your actual certificate, right? And when you send us your certificate, if for whatever reason you did not put your national producer number in there, then that means that you have to redo the training or you have to contact CMS so that they can fix it for you. So make sure that you follow the steps. As soon as the FFM training is released, we will have step-by-step instructions. Make sure that on your certificate of completion, when you finish the training, your national producer number shows. Doesn't matter if your name's on there. What matters really is that national producer number. I always like to say your national producer number is like your social security number when it comes to health insurance. Insurance in general. That's how every carrier, that's how the systems locate you and identify you. It's through that national producer number. Now, all ACA carriers require the agent to be certified to sell every year. So just because you did 2020 once doesn't mean it's good and you only do that. You have to do it every year. Think about it. If you're selling Medicare, you do your AHIP and carrier certifications every year. On this side, you only do what? Your FFM certifications once a year. Now, the next thing is going to be agents and brokers, like I said, must complete it the registration annually. You will be required to do an identity proofing as well. So the identity proofing, guys, it's almost like a credit check that they do, but it's not a credit check. It's just to make sure that you are who you say you are. Like I said, you can verify that you've completed your FFM training through the FFM agent broker registration completion list. If you don't show up on that completion list, then that's where you have to make sure, like I said, that national producer number is showing up correctly, because the insurance companies pull that report to verify that you're ready to sell. Agents who do not complete the annual registration or who violate other marketplace requirements may have their marketplace agreement terminated or suspended. So when we go into the next part, which is our quoting and enrollment platform, right, that we are partnered with Health Sherpa, and I'll go over the reasons why, but one of the biggest things is that you have to have completed your FFM training. And the reason why is because they need to make sure CMS says all agents that are running through a third-party quoting and enrollment platform that's not healthcare.gov, needs to make sure that they are certified, because you guys need to know what you're selling and how to sell it. So if you are not certified, you won't even have access to Health Sherpa. So I tell agents all the time, don't create your Health Sherpa account yet. And that's that quoting and enrollment platform. Don't do it unless you are contracted with the insurance companies and you've completed your certifications. Because if not, it really doesn't matter to have a Health Sherpa account. CMS offers the training at no cost. I get this all the time. People say, well, I paid for my to complete my marketplace training. Guys, it's free. You don't have to pay for the marketplace training. Please don't pay for it. There are third-party companies. If you go through your AHIP, where you do your AHIP, they will have the FFM training at some point once it's released, and they do charge a fee. Now, here's the reason why they charge a fee, guys, is because they're giving you CE credits. So you're actually paying for the CE credit, not necessarily the FFM training. So if you don't have to, or you don't need CE credits, I would say honestly, just complete your training free through CMS at no cost. There's no reason to pay for it. Now, let's talk about Health Sherpa. So Health Sherpa is the quoting and enrollment platform for marketplace plans. So if I have any agents that's tried to sell health insurance, ACA health plans 9 years ago, even tried to do it 5 years ago, you're probably sitting here saying, well, the time I'm investing for an ACA enrollment is not worth the commissions. And if I was you 5 years ago, I totally agree with you. Totally agree. To waste time to go through healthcare.gov and run an application. But Health Sherpa has made this even better for us, because now enrollments can be done in literally less than 10 minutes. Now, benefits of using Health Sherpa. Health Sherpa has the double redirect when it comes to healthcare.gov, which means that you no longer have to go through healthcare.gov to submit an enrollment. In the past, for all of the new agents, you guys never had to hassle with this. But what would happen is you had to create an account for Health Sherpa. Sorry, not for healthcare.gov for your clients. So you had to complete a account through healthcare.gov. Now your client needed to have an email address. Well, let's rewind back 5 years ago, or 7, 8 years ago. A lot of people didn't have email addresses, right? So then you're sitting there having to create an email address for your clients. Or if they did have an email address, what happened? They didn't know their password because they haven't been in there in months, so they don't know. So you're having to reset passwords. It takes about 10, 15 minutes. You finally create an account, or you reset the password, and now you're in their email. You start creating the account with healthcare.gov, right? And what happens is that, great, you're in. Now you got to do your client's identity verification. It asks you, about 10 questions. And then if for whatever reason they miss one of those questions, or they did it incorrectly, now you have your, it's locked, and now you have to contact Marketplace so that they can unlock the account, right? Or verify their identity. Now you're sitting there and it's 30 minutes, right? And if it's a long wait, you're sitting there 45 minutes because you were put on hold because it's the 13th of the month and the open enrollment closes on the 15th. Great. Finally, they unlock and verify the identity and you're in. Now you start all of the data entry, right, for that application. And this person has a family of 5. So you have to put in all of the information for every one of the members. Takes you about 30 minutes if you're a fast typer, right? Let's say you're not as fast typing, so it's going to take you 45 minutes to put everybody's information. And some of them have resident cards. You have to put their incomes, where they work, because they're going to apply for the subsidy. And then finally, you fill everything out. You run the application and realize what? Now you're an hour in or an hour and a half in, and they don't qualify for a subsidy. So your client says, nope, that's too expensive, not going to do it. So they leave, right? And you're sitting there going, I wasted an hour and a half of my time. What am I doing here? And I'm only getting paid $15 on this, and I didn't even get paid. Not worth it. Totally with you. But Health Sherpa made this better for us. We don't have to go through that process anymore. Doesn't exist anymore for us. At some point in the last 9 years, 80% of people have applied for a marketplace plan, which means that you can pull up any client through Health Sherpa's platform. You can pull up anybody through the system as long as you have their name, last name, and date of birth. Now, that's kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing, guys, because the good thing is that as agents, we can go in there and we can locate a client pretty quickly. The bad thing is everybody else that's using Health Sherpa has the same ability, right? So one of the new measures that they did this year is now they're pinning everything based on your FFM user ID, which means it's that CMS login information, right? Everything gets pinged. So we know exactly which person accesses which applications. It's going to save us a lot because also what happens is people try to switch clients around, right? We're not going to see that be as common this year for 2022. And the other advantage to this is going to be that they have automated bulk email marketing, which means that if you have a large book of business, you can literally click an email, click a button and send that an email to all 60, 70 clients that you have saying, hey, it's time to renew, or hey, it's time to make your payment, and you can send that information over. Now, quoting and enrolling, like I said earlier, remember having to go through healthcare.gov just to get a quote. Through Health Sherpa, there's a button, you quote and enroll. You first have to quote it before you even start the application. That way you know if your client even qualifies for a tax credit, or even if your client's going to be interested. I mean, you're going to go ahead and you're going to run that quote first, so you're not wasting your time. You're not wasting your time trying to figure out if someone's interested or not, or if they're going to take the plan. So like I said, applications are now literally less than 10 minutes. You can upload documents. That was the other key thing, right? In the past, you'd upload, what did you have to do if your client had to verify their identity or verify their income? You had to mail it out to the marketplace, right? There was an address, you put it in an envelope and you'd hope it gets sent out, unless you wanted to pay $10 to get it certified, right? Now what happens is you can actually upload the documents directly through the Health Sherpa portal, which is pretty neat because it gives you instant proof that they received it and they're reviewing the information. The other thing that Health Sherpa has advanced themselves with is going to be real-time statuses and notifications. We've always been able to get the eligibility letters right when we submit the application, so we know exactly what the client is going to get with a tax credit. But the other thing is that they have now added to Health Sherpa is that we get notifications. So if someone goes into our client's profile, or someone makes a change in their application, or the client calls Marketplace directly because for whatever reason they lost your phone number and there were changes made, there's a section in each profile for each client that tracks notifications. Anything that the Marketplace updates and sends out communication to the client, you get copied on that, and you get a copy into that section where you can just download it into a PDF and review what that was. That's pretty neat because you have full control of your clients to make sure that you're able to support them and help them, even if they were to call in and say, hey, Marketplace sent me this form, I don't know what it is. Go into their profile, look at it and say, oh, I see what it is. Great, let me tell you what this is about. The famous 1095A form, right? So one of the advantages, and I sort of missed this earlier, but why didn't people like health insurance, ACA health plans before? I mean, we know when we talk politics, right? But what was the big reason why people did not want to get enrolled into a health insurance plan? Main reason is because they were being forced to do it, right? It was mandated. If you didn't get enrolled into an ACA health insurance plan, then you had to pay the penalty, right? That went away. That was one of the good things. It went away. There is no mandate. So everybody has the option to get enrolled into a health insurance plan if they wish to do so, right? And if they don't want to, or they just rather get an alternative option, that's their right, right? But every year, if you do go through the Marketplace, you were given a 1095A form. That's a tax form. you'd go and do your taxes, and what would happen? If you had health insurance, great, they put it in the system, and then it gets credited on there. If you don't have that 1095-A form in the past, then you get, that penalty. It's gone now, so it doesn't matter, right? But here's the catch, guys. That 1095-A form in the past was a good and a bad thing, right? Good reason is, right, people that actually qualified for tax credits, they got that 1095-A form, they got their health coverage pretty low cost, it's great. Now, a lot of insurance agents, not saying you guys, but a lot of insurance agents back then were very unprofessional on how they did this. So what would happen is the system allows you to put whatever number, they're making an estimate of what their income is going to look like for 2022, right? We're going to use that 2022. We can't make a specific, we can't say what someone's going to make because we have to make an estimate. Now, what agents were out there doing is that they were trying to get everybody into a $0 plan so that they could get the commissions, right? And so a lot of clients, and this is a challenge you guys are going to come across, clients were going in there and they were getting health coverage, but somehow they were still being penalized. And so a lot of clients will tell you, well, I paid for health coverage and I still had to pay the penalty. They didn't have to pay the penalty. This is what happened. The insurance agent put in there that they were going to earn $30,000 a year so that they could get a high subsidy. And when the client went in and did their taxes and took their 1095-A form, well, what happened is it showed that they made $60,000. Well, they got a tax credit that didn't belong to them. So because they got that tax credit that did not belong to them, what happens? Government's going to say, need my money back. And so they weren't getting penalized for not having health insurance. They were actually being penalized because they lied on their applications. Now, Marketplace says this. Once again, it's an estimate. You estimate what your client is going to make for 2022. If you're $5,000 off or on, that's fine, right? But what they don't want to see is someone say, I'm going to make $40,000 and then they make 60. Or I make $40,000 and then they make 55, right? That's what they don't want to see, the big increments, because then they say, well, how come you didn't reach out to the Marketplace to make that adjustment? The client has the entire year to make any adjustments to the income. As long as you're truthful on these applications, then your client will be fine and there is no penalty or there's no charge to them when they go file their taxes and get that famous 1095-A form. Now, the other thing that you're going to do is also you can track your client's activities and there is a referral bonus. Now, I know that Western Marketing works with a lot of agents in multiple states. Now, there are going to be some insurance companies that you're going to see that are regional carriers, which means that they will not contract non-resident licensed agents and they will not contract agents that do not reside in that area. So when it comes to that, Health Sherpa does have a referral bonus program that says if you refer it, we'll pay you $50 to $100 one-time referral bonus. I say, hey, if I'm not going to get paid for that sale, but they'll give me $50, it's better than nothing. That's my point of view, but it's completely your choice, and you have the option to be able to use that referral program for the companies that you cannot appoint with. Florida Blue, perfect example. Can't appoint if you're going to be selling in multiple other companies in Florida, but you can use their referral program. So the next question that I get all the time is leads. What kind of leads do you guys provide? Guys, the ACA market is very, very easy to sell. It's very easy to market yourself out there because unlike these other markets that there's a lot of do's and don'ts, I can literally walk up to someone and say, hey, are you enrolled in the health insurance plan already? Let me go ahead and get you signed up for an ACA plan. I can do that all day long, right? It's so much easier to find these leads. The other thing is, unlike other markets where they have to go through underwriting, there's no underwriting. So I get fast, easy answers right there and then. Help on Demand is a program that is offered by healthcare.gov. that is offered for the agents. Now, I get all the time mixed reviews on Help on Demand. Some people say it's great and they get, 5 to 6 leads during the open enrollment a day, and they can close 2 to 3. That's honestly, that's my point of view as well. I have a Help on Demand, and my team gets 5 leads out of me every day, and they're able to close 2. We have agents that do that as well. Now, there's your other agents that are going to tell you Help on Demand doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. I had no leads. So I'll tell you guys some of these tips on the Help on Demand. Help on Demand is a system that if a consumer goes to healthcare.gov and needs help enrolling in an ACA health plan, they have a section where they select assistance, and that reroutes them to the closest agent to them. If they speak their language, hours of operation, whatever is convenient to the consumer, and it pings it, and it sends you an email notification. As an agent, you have 15 minutes to be able to grab that lead. If you do not grab that lead within the 15 minutes, then it goes on to the next agent. So if you start missing a lot of those leads, what happens is the system's just not going to generate things for you anymore, because it says, why are we sending it to John if John's going to miss it, and then the client's having to sit there an extra 30 minutes to have the next agent answer. Let's send it to the person that's responding to these fast enough. The other thing is going to be hours of operation. So you select when you want to have these leads being given to you. So if I put myself in, I say, well, I want it from 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., right, because I wake up late, and I want it from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. What's your average American doing from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.? They're working. They're not looking for health insurance from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., right? So if you put your hours from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., I'm totally with you. You're probably not going to have anybody. Maybe you're lucky if you have 1 lead. But what happens is, remember this, open enrollment is only November 1st through December 15th now. Back then it was November 1st through December 15th. Right, so we're getting an extra 30 days. But that's all you really have to focus yourself on. Work yourself selling ACA health plans during this time frame. I leave mine open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Right? I get 4 to 5 leads, like I said, a day. They can close 2 to 3 average. And we'll do an example of what that looks like in the next slide when we talk about commissions. But you could have a very successful year. All you have to do is focus yourself in these next 60 days to go out there and sell, 60 days, go out there and make these sales. But you have to be open to work the hours. And if you don't, then this program is not going to be for you. Because like I said, your average American is working during the day. They're not looking for health coverage. All right, average ACA commissions. So when we talk about commissions, guys, I've averaged this out. This isn't what the commissions are, but your average commission, some carriers pay $20 per member per month. Some pay all the way up to $25. If you were in Florida, Better Health was paying $30 per member per month, which was crazy this past year for the special enrollment. But average ACA commissions, this is an average, $22 per member per month. So I'm going to give you that example. An agent enrolls 2 policies each day, right? Using the fact that, remember, I talked to you guys about Help on Demand. Just use Help on Demand from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 2 policies each day during the open enrollment. That's 60 days times 2 policies, right? And actually, it's not 60 days. That's wrong. It's actually 75 days. Sorry about that. So I'm going to stick to this 60 days because it goes all the way to January 15th. Or 90 days actually, sorry. 60 days times 2 policies equals 120 total policies, right? If I just do 2 policies. Now, 120 policies times 1.5 members. Everybody asks me, where do you get the 1.5 members, Marlene? Because your average policy, your average enrollment is going to have 1 to 2 members, right? Because some of them are singles, some of them is husband and wife, sometimes they add a child. So your average is always going to be 1.5 members in each policy that's enrolled. So average it out, you're at 180 members enrolled Now, 180 members times $22 per member per month, that's $3,960 every month for the policy year. This doesn't include bonus opportunities that the insurance companies offer. This is just what you would make every month for the policy year. So, if you average that out, that to me, getting close to $4,000 a month, on top of, and I know you guys are selling other things, that's not that bad. If I just have to go out there, even if you already have a book of business right now for PNC, life insurance, Medicare, supplemental, whatever it is that you're selling, right? If you just go out there and you target your current book of business that you have, right? If you get 180 members, $4,000 a month extra doesn't sound too bad to me. What is that times 12? You're looking at what, $48,000 a year, almost close to $50,000 extra. Doesn't sound too bad to me, and that's what you're taking home, right? So that's just something to look at when it comes to this. And I've showed you guys how easy it is. And we'll have a Health Sherpa training specifically so that you guys learn to navigate Health Sherpa. But I promise you guys, it takes less than 10 minutes to do an enrollment. So for us to go out there and spend 10 minutes on a client to get them signed up and be able to make, close to $4,000 a month out of these policies, I don't think we're investing our time wrongly right now. The other thing is I'm lowballing it by giving you $22 per member per month. A lot of these insurance companies in the past 5 years have continued to increase their commissions. If anybody remembers, back when we were selling 7 years ago, we were getting paid $15 per member per month. Now, I think the lowest cost company that was paying was $20 per member per month. So commissions are continuously growing. United Healthcare said $25, right? So think about it that way. If you just focus yourself in selling UHC and did 180 members with them at 25, right? So there's definitely huge opportunities. The other thing that I do want to invite you guys to do is go ahead and register to the My Admin. So we do offer a free platform for agents to go in. That's where you can check your contracting. That's where you're also going to be able to get the information on any access to your carrier portals, if you're needing anything branded, social media things for ACA marketing that you want to do. You can find all of this information through the Agility My Admin portal, and the link is right there. Sandy, I'm going to turn on if you have any questions, because I know we passed the time a little bit on this, but if there's any questions that are there, so that we can answer those.
Of course, definitely. Thank you very much, Marlene. It was a very interesting conversation with that new systems. Please do take advantage of that My Admin, because that's where you get all the marketing materials, and Agility is really gracious enough to give you guys the opportunity to take advantage of some of those. Some of those are free cost to you, so there's some information in there that you can actually use for your websites and to do some Facebook marketing as well. So one of the questions that one of the agents had that I wanted to talk to you about was an agent that's asking, in California they had a state exchange. Wouldn't we need to use Cover California for enrollment? Can you address that one?
Yeah, so let's address those. So total, guys, so there's two different types of states, and I sort of touched it and I skipped them. I do apologize for that. So you have your state-based and your federal facilitated marketplace states. Your federal marketplace states, there's 36 of them. Those are all going to fall through. You just have to do the FFM training, and that's it, right? You just do one training and that applies to all of the states. Then you have these other states that are going to be considered state-based. California is one of them, right? California said, yeah, we're not going to let them regulate it. We're not going to let them regulate, and we're not going to let them do this. We're going to set up our own platform. We're going to have our own open enrollment period. California actually has been going through their open enrollment all the way through January 15 every year. And so for that, there are instructions through MyAdmin. That's why I want to keep this up so you guys can go on myadmin.enrollinsurance.com how to complete your certifications for these other, what is it, 14 other states, how you guys can complete the certifications so that you're ready to sell. So California has their Covered California certifications, but you're also not going to be able to use Health Sherpa for the quoting and enrollment. You're going to have to use Covered California's quoting and enrollment platform. Another state that's going to be included on there, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania uses something called Penny's quoting and enrollment platform, and they have their own certifications. Nevada actually just started doing this as well, where they've become a state-based, which means that they have their own platform and they have their own certifications. So there's a list. If you go to the Agility MyAdmin portal, there's a list of those other 14 states with the links on how to complete the certifications if you're wanting to sell in one of those 14 states, how to complete the certifications, and it also includes what the quoting platform you're going to have to use. So just keep that in mind. Colorado, they use something called Connect. It's something called Connect. I can't remember right now on the top of my head, but it's different platforms. But through the Agility MyAdmin, you're going to be able to pull it up and you're going to say, oh, okay, this state is actually one of those that is a non-FFM state. So that means that I have to use this platform. And we do that because we do understand you have different opportunities.
Well, I appreciate your notes on that, and I believe that was one of the main questions I had. Most of the questions I had answered. Like I said before, if you guys, the most important things that we can do right now is, because time is of the essence, is to get everyone that is needing to get contracted, submitting those contracts right away, so that we can actually start getting you guys at least with a background check started. So when the FFM training comes in on October the 5th, you will be able to do the FFM training, and then I'll be able to send you a Sherpa link so you guys can have access to that as well. With that, I will not take much more of your time. I know that it was a very lengthy, but it was very informative webinar. So I appreciate you, Marlene, for all your guidance on this, and hopefully we'll see you soon in one of our wonderful trips. Okay.
Definitely. One thing that I do want to add, sorry, Sandy, to this is, I don't know how many of you guys are in the Houston or Dallas market, but we are having ACA kickoffs in person. Obviously, COVID has played a big role in how we go out and brand to agents, just because we can't do certain events. But we are going to have a rotating, and we'll have it, it's on the Agility portal as well. But if you guys want to come pick up material, things like that in person, we can always mail it out to you guys if needed. But if you guys just want to swing by, pick up material, we do have the addresses that will be available October 21st and the 22nd. So we'll have locations where you guys can just pick up material and take it back with you guys. So, and it's unlimited material that you guys can take.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, with that, we will close, and thank you very much, everyone, for participating, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.